All right, so picture this. You're in a match, the kind you usually win, and suddenly your shots are different. Powerful, precise, like someone secretly upgraded your game overnight.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like the first time I got my racket professionally strung. Total game changer.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, you already know how much stringing matters, and you're ready to take it seriously.
Absolutely.
We're diving deep into the world of the Professional Tennis Stringer certification today. That's PTS, from Best Stringer Worldwide, or BSW.
Right.
Think of it like the Navy SEALs of stringing. They're the elite, the top 1%.
Yeah, BSW's PTS certification is definitely the gold standard in the industry. It's a very rigorous process designed to identify and recognize true expertise in professional stringing.
So let's unpack what makes a PTS pro stand out from the crowd. According to BSW, even qualifying to take this test is no easy feat.
Exactly. It's not like you just pick up a pair of stringing pliers and decide to go for it.
Right.
First off, candidates need to have already earned both their certified tennis stringer and certified string advisor certifications.
Wow.
Those are non-negotiable prerequisites.
Well, hold up. So you're telling me they need to be experts in both the art of stringing
Yeah,
and the science of recommending the perfect setup for a player? That's impressive.
it is. They need a deep understanding of how different strings and tensions affect a player's game.
Right.
And that's just the starting point.
Okay.
On top of that, they need a minimum of 5 years of experience stringing for customers. This isn't some weekend hobby. We're talking years of hands-on experience,
Okay.
dealing with all sorts of rackets and player preferences.
5 years. It's longer than some marriages. You're really racking up the hours and dealing with, I'm sure, a whole lot of interesting requests along the way.
Yeah.
What else makes the cut?
Well, to even be considered for the PTS program, stringers must have a high-quality digital stringing machine.
Okay.
This shows a commitment to precision and utilizing the best tools available. Think of it like a surgeon with state-of-the-art equipment. You want someone who invests in their craft.
Right.
And finally, they need proof they consistently deliver amazing work. Testimonials, references, evidence that they're not just stringing rackets, they're transforming games.
It's like having a 5-star rating, but for your stringing skills.
Exactly.
Only the best get to even
Yes.
apply.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established that these candidates are serious about their craft, but then comes the actual PTS test. And from what I've heard, it's intense.
You're not kidding. The test itself is a 2-part beast.
Okay.
A grueling written exam and then a hands-on stringing challenge that separates the amateurs from the pros.
Right.
This is where they prove they can walk the walk, not just talk the talk. But we'll get into that in more detail after the break.
Oh man, the suspense is killing me.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere, listeners, because when we come back, we're diving deep into the PTS gauntlet. All right, we're back, and I'm still reeling from the PTS prerequisites. But now it's time to tackle the main event, the PTS test itself. It's a 2-parter, right? Tell me more about this gauntlet, as we like to call it.
It's a trial by fire, that's for sure. First up, the dreaded written exam. We're talking 100 questions,
100?
covering everything from stringing patterns and their effects on play to the intricacies of major string brands like Wilson, Babolat, Yonex, you name it.
100 questions. It sounds like they need to know the entire history of tennis strings, from the first gut racket to whatever high-tech fibers they're inventing right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's not just memorizing facts and figures.
Right.
They need to be able to analyze a player's style, strengths, weaknesses, and translate that into the optimal stringing setup. Imagine a player walks in and says, I need more spin.
Okay.
A PTS candidate needs to know exactly what questions to ask, what strings and tensions will deliver those results, and even what kind of feel the player's going for.
So it's about communication and understanding as much as it is about technical knowledge. They need to be string whisperers.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And of course, they need to be master problem solvers.
Right.
What happens if a player brings in a cracked racket? How do different frame types affect string choice? The exam covers it all. It's about proving they can handle any stringing situation that comes their way.
Okay, so the written exam sounds intense enough to make my brain hurt,
Yeah.
but then there's the hands-on part.
Right.
It's not just stringing a racket, it's stringing under pressure.
Right. Exactly. For the hands-on portion, they have to string 4 entire rackets, each with specific requirements and a time limit.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it's not as simple as it sounds. We're not talking about your basic string job here.
Oh, I bet. What are some curveballs they throw at these aspiring PTS pros?
Well, 2 of the rackets have to be strung using what's called a 2-knot technique,
What?
which is more complex and requires a higher level of precision. The other two are even trickier, requiring 4-knot or hybrid methods.
Okay, pause for a second. For those of us who haven't dedicated our lives to the art of stringing, can you break down these knot techniques and what a hybrid setup even is?
Absolutely. So the number of knots refers to how the string is secured at the starting and ending points. 2-knot is the standard for most rackets,
Okay.
but 4-knot offers added durability and tension maintenance, often preferred by players who hit the ball really hard.
Right.
A hybrid setup means using different types of strings for the mains, the vertical strings,
Right.
and crosses horizontal strings.
Okay.
This allows players to fine-tune the feel and performance of their racket even further.
So if I'm a player who serves like Serena, and wants a softer feel on volleys, a hybrid setup could be the answer. But back to our PTS test.
Right.
These candidates are stringing 4 rackets with different knot techniques under a time crunch.
You got it.
Huh.
And they only have 35 minutes per racket to get it done.
35 minutes. I could barely pick out which Netflix show to watch in that amount of time. Imagine the focus and precision required to string an entire racket to those standards with different knot techniques in less than an hour. What are the judges looking for specifically?
Precision is key, of course.
Right.
They're judging the overall technique, making sure there's no damage to the racket, and that the tension is perfectly even across all the strings. We're talking about a measurement called dynamic tension, or DT. They need to maintain a maximum difference of 1 DT between strings.
1 DT. That's incredibly precise. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah.
Why is DT so crucial? What difference does it make on the court?
Imagine jumping on a trampoline.
Okay.
If the springs are all different tensions, it's going to be a bumpy, unpredictable ride.
Right.
The same goes for your tennis racket. DT is all about consistency. Even a tiny difference in tension between strings can make your shots go haywire, affecting your control and feel.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So they've got their work cut out for them. And on top of all that, they need to make sure their customer service skills are up to par.
Right.
Tell me, at least get a comfy chair for that part of the test.
Well, there's no massage included, but the customer service element is crucial.
Right.
Remember, PTS pros aren't just stringing machines. They're advisors,
Well-
they're problem solvers, and they need to be able to communicate effectively with players of all levels.
Because, let's face it, sometimes explaining what you want from your racket can feel like trying to describe a dream.
Right.
What does this customer interaction test involve?
They have to role-play a scenario with a difficult customer. Imagine someone who's incredibly particular about their racket.
Okay.
Maybe they're frustrated with their game, or maybe they just love to complain.
Oh, we've all encountered that person on the court.
Yeah.
This test sounds like my worst nightmare.
The judges aren't trying to be cruel.
Right.
They're testing how the candidates handle tricky situations,
Okay.
how they communicate stringing options, and how they maintain professionalism under pressure. Because let's be real, not every client interaction is going to be smooth sailing.
It's like they say you can't always choose your opponent or your customer. So they've aced the exams, they've strung like machines, and they've charmed the socks off that difficult customer. What happens next? Do confetti cannons go off?
Well, there might be a celebratory fist pump or two. But on a more serious note, achieving the PTS certification is a huge accomplishment. It means joining an elite group of stringers worldwide, recognized for their exceptional skill, knowledge, and dedication to the craft.
It's like earning a black belt in stringing. Only the truly dedicated reach this level.
And speaking of levels, how does finding a PTS certified stringer actually translate to improvements on the court? Let's break that down after a quick break.
And we're back, folks. We spent this whole episode unpacking the mystery behind this PTS certification, the grueling exams, the pressure cooker stringing tests, even the customer service role-playing. But let's be real, the big question is, how does any of this translate to a better tennis game for you?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's where that PTS difference really shines. Think of it this way. A PTS certified stringer isn't just stringing your racket. They're customizing it to your individual playing style. They're taking into account your strengths, your weaknesses, even your equipment. To create a setup that maximizes your performance on the court, it's like the difference between buying a suit off the rack and having one tailor-made.
So it's about personalized stringing, not a one-size-fits-all approach. But how do they actually do that? What sets a PTS pro apart in terms of their process?
A PTS pro brings a level of experience and insight that's hard to find elsewhere. They've seen it all, strung it all, and problem-solved their way through countless racket setups. They understand the nuances of how string choice and tension interact with your swing, your grip, even the type of court you prefer.
Okay, that makes sense. But give me an example. How would a PTS pro approach stringing differently for, say, a hard-hitting baseliner versus someone who's all about finesse and touch?
Great question. Let's say you're that aggressive baseliner who loves to hit heavy topspin. A PTS might recommend a hybrid setup with a durable polyester mainstring for control and a softer natural gut cross string for that extra pop and feel.
So they're basically creating a string cocktail tailored to your game. What about our finesse player, the one who slices and dices their way around the court?
For them, it might be a full bed of natural gut at a slightly lower tension. This provides exceptional feel and control, allowing them to work the angles and finesse those drop shots. But it's not just about the initial setup. A PTS pro's expertise really shines when it comes to diagnosing and fixing issues.
You mean like that weird vibration my racket gets sometimes? The one that makes me sound like a sputtering lawnmower?
Exactly. A PTS stringer can pinpoint the source of those problems. Maybe it's uneven string tension, a worn grommet strip, or even a subtle warp in the frame, things an untrained eye might miss.
They're like the Sherlock Holmes of stringing. And once they find the culprit, they can actually fix it.
Precisely. They have the skills and knowledge to address a wide range of issues, ensuring your racket performs at its best. And remember, the world of tennis is constantly evolving. New string technologies, racket designs, grip styles, it's a lot to keep up with.
It's like the tech world. Always something new and shiny to tempt us.
Absolutely. And that's another area where PTS certified stringers excel. They're committed to continuous learning, always staying up to date on the latest innovations and techniques in the industry. They attend conferences, participate in workshops, and experiment with new products to ensure they're providing the absolute best service to their clients. They're not just stringing your racket, they're investing in their craft and, by extension, your game.
So if you're serious about taking your tennis game to the next level, finding a PTS certified stringer could be that secret weapon you've been searching for. It's an investment worth considering, folks. It's like upgrading your equipment and your coach all at once.
I couldn't agree more. It's about more than just the strings. It's about the knowledge, the expertise, and the passion that a PTS pro brings to every racket they string.
You know, this whole conversation got me thinking. We've talked about the science of stringing, the precision, the technical aspects. But there's an art to it too, isn't there? A certain intuition that some stringers have, an ability to understand a player's needs, even when the player themselves can't quite articulate what they're looking for.
That's an interesting thought. It's like they can translate a player's feel and playing style into the perfect string setup, almost like a musician tuning an instrument.
Exactly. And I wonder, is that something that can be taught? Or is it a gift, an innate ability that some stringers possess? It's something to ponder, wouldn't you say?
It certainly is. A fascinating question to consider. Perhaps the true masters of stringing possess a blend of technical mastery and artistic intuition, a rare combination that elevates their craft to a whole new level.
Food for thought as you search for your next stringing guru. And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of professional tennis stringing. Until next time, keep those serves strong and your strings even stronger.
We're the best stringer worldwide, passion and knowledge side by side.